तू चलता चल तू चलता चल तू चलता चल.
Today we have with us Tarun Singh. He's from Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, and he has joined the State Bank of India in 2016 as a probationary officer. He had been an NFA student. He has some experience with the sessions and conversations with Col Nehru, and perhaps he was selected in Coast Guard. Yes,
Right.
he was also selected in the Coast Guard, and he opted to join SBI. Right now, he is doing very well. He is a cadet personnel with good experience in industrial finance. And what had been his overall experience, not just in SBI, but before SBI, how did the events turn for him? Let us hear from him.
So, starting from 2010, I had appeared for NDA twice, and I got conferenced out both the times from Allahabad, if I remember correctly. And thereafter, I completed my engineering. And again, in the third year, I started giving attempts at the university entry scheme. So all throughout these attempts, I could get through the screening in the initial days, or at least for the first 3 or 4 attempts. Thereafter, I was screened out repeatedly thrice, and the confidence took a beating very badly. And I didn't know what to do, how to proceed, or I was looking really for someone who could help me out, tell me that what can I do. I had attended different types of capsules that were available in the market at that point of time. But my initial decision was that they were of no help for me, because they were just telling about the process, how and what is going on in the SSB, how they proceed, which I was aware very much about. So somewhere in 2015, I guess, remember in October, I was browsing through Facebook and I saw your page, sir. And frankly, I was aware about you in 2010 because there was the show, Mission Army Desh Ke Rakshak. I had seen you over there. So immediately I recognized your photograph, and I gave you a call, and we started there afterwards. So the basic thing that was followed by sir was that you shouldn't focus on anything or any part or process of SSB, because evaluating yourself in that process is of no use. What his ideology was that we should follow the things that will lead to our inner improvement. And the important thing that he used, what I can say, is that developing efficient and good habits. Like everyone who wants to go for SSB, he knows that physical fitness is a very important part for it. So everyone has this thing in his mind that okay, I'll be able to complete 10 obstacles or so. But the habit of running or doing physical activities on a onward basis develops confidence. Supposedly, I can run 5 to 10 kilometers right now. And if within a span of 30 days, I can upscale my capacity so that I can run up to 15 kilometers in the same span of time or a little bit more. So that will boost my confidence. So that was important. So we started off with it. And the first thing that he told me that I should look onto my physical fitness. And I did that very religiously. And he gave me around, I guess, a set of 40 to 50 questions. They were actually not questions, they were like narratives or essays with the different kind of topics about general knowledge, market, economy. And he asked me to study onto these topics and keep writing essays as and when required. And I used to send it to him, and he used to evaluate, and then we used to discuss further. This process was followed up for around 3.5 months, sir. And thereafter, I got success in the SSB.
Okay. So they would also be keen to know that what concrete improvements you had made in measurable terms and confidence, and overall how your experience changed, and then your decision, that you did not join Coast Guard and you went to bank.
Right. So the most important thing that I would tell you, sir, and other students, that I can recall, I went for this SSB, the technical entry scheme. And one fine morning in Allahabad, there were 500 chaps standing in the line. And I was very underconfident at that point of time. I knew that mera nahi hone wala. But after your session, when I had interacted with you, when I went for my next SSB, I knew that I need not look after these guys. Whatever I'll do, it will be good for me. So that confidence to stand up and to present yourself is important. That confidence started up with those inculcating those habits. The second most important thing that I felt was that you need to have a overall knowledge about your subjects and everything that is going around in the world. It's not relevant. They are not looking to test your knowledge, but it helps you develop a more mature perspective, which is required while you are working in a team or you are taking up a leadership role. And thereafter, if you are looking to eye the uniform in the forces. And apart from that, these two were the most important things. I guess rest of the part did automatically well for me. And the decision for not joining the Coast Guard was like this way, that after I had cleared the SSB, there was no loose end for me. I knew that uh, that I had done it in the ninth attempt, and it was a perfect closure. So I thought that let's look for the other options as well, because I was not keen on joining the Indian Coast Guard. I was keen on joining the Indian Defense Forces, like the Indian Army and the Navy Air Force. But at that point of time, I had to look for employment as well, because it had been around 10 to 11 months after my graduation. Plus, the family responsibilities were also there. So I gave up this exam at the State Bank of India. And as I said, it was not a lose end, so I never looked back.
Tell us something about your SBI interview. You see, thing is that, Tarun, you and I know a lot about you. I remember all things also. My memory is also not that bad. So I
Right,
remember
sir.
all our interactions. But it will be beneficial for our students because they don't know you.
Right.
You and I know each other well. So tell us your experience about the State Bank interview. उन्होंने क्या पूछा था कि तेरे को economics की knowledge तो होगी नहीं, तो electronics वाला है.
Right, sir.
Just
Right.
share those experiences.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. The moment the interview started, they told me that you're an engineer and आप State Bank में क्या करने आना चाहते हो. So I told them that it's a formal employment, a white collar job, and so I just opted out for it. Okay, so he said, the interviewer said that we are not going to ask you anything about your profession or your education up till now. We'll ask something new, and if you can answer, then we'll see about it. So I said, perfectly fine. I don't have any problem with that. So he started up with those terms like repo rate kya hota hai, reverse repo rate kya hota hai. Now they were expecting out the written definitions that were available anywhere in the internet. Instead of telling those definitions, sir, I told them examples. कि अगर market बैंक के पास 100 रुपए है तो उस पे 4% इंटरेस्ट देना पड़ता है. So if you lower that interest rate, तो उनको इंटरेस्ट कम देना पड़ेगा. So that will improve their lending capacity. And then and there, they were very surprised that we haven't seen anyone explaining these kind of things in such a lucid manner. They told me that even the people in their service were not, were not up to the mark to, present in these examples in such a manner. So I told them that I'm coming from such a place that where much more difficult things were explained in a much simpler manner. She said, okay, all right.
Oh, that is good. Okay. So, Tarun, I will not ask you any questions because we know each other too well. Let us leave it for the students to ask you questions. Please go ahead.
Absolutely, sir.
Hello, good morning, Tarun.
Hi, morning, sir.
Tarun, my question is, I think you just mentioned that you have been preparing for the forces since 2010. So was it difficult for you because something like that which becomes a part of your life for so long? Was it very difficult for you to just leave postcard aside and now go for SBI? And how did you cope up with this kind of thing? You had these kind of thoughts in your mind or in your heart when you joined the SBI?
Right. I'll put it this way. That clearing SSB and thereafter joining the forces are two different things. Clearing any suitable individual can clear SSB provided he has the right qualities that is required on it. My obsession, rather passion, was to clear the SSB because I had been trying so badly for it, and over the years the performance got worse. So the first thing that I had in my mind that anyhow this exam I should be able to clear it, and I have to do it. Now, when I did it in the 9th attempt, I was very happy. So it was a perfect closure for me that okay, now I've cleared the SSB. Now let's see what is there further. So after my evaluation, I felt that just I won't be able to make it up to my family and their responsibilities if I'm there in the Coast Guard. And there were opportunities as well for me further. I could give SSBs again. So I left it at that only because the confidence and the happiness that I had gained after clearing the SSB in my 9th attempt, I'm saying it repeatedly, was enough for me. And thereafter, I cleared the exam in State Bank of India. And afterwards, since I was working there for 3 or 4 months, I remember I got a call from SSB. I filled up the form earlier, but I never felt the need of it. I thought that whatever I had to gain from there, I had already taken up, and I started up the new chapter.
Hi Tarun, this is Shivani. As you already mentioned that you were getting screened out continuously, I think for thrice, 3 times. So how you restored your confidence and what was the major reason you figured it out for that continuous screened out?
I will say that it happens with most of the people who rather started up who they start looking inwards to the process, like इंटरव्यूअर क्या देखते हैं और पीजीटी में मैं ऐसा करूं तो क्या होगा, या कमांड टास्क में लोग मुझे नहीं बुलाएंगे अपने साथ तो क्या होगा. I started doing that. I ignored the general knowledge. I ignored that physical fitness was important. I ignored the grammar that was important while writing articles or while writing the questionnaire. So this was the reason. And once you're screened out, your confidence goes for a fall. And that was my only motivation. Like getting screened out thrice, this became my motivation that ki मुझे तो करना है यार. I couldn't take it up that way that ये चीज मेरे से हो नहीं पाएगी. So that desperation that I have been screened out repeatedly thrice, and earlier I was conference out, I could go through the SSB entire 5-day process. And now what has happened that I'm not even able to survive or sustain for a single day in the process. That was my motivation to stand again and do whatever was required for it.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Tarun, I have read about you in the book, The Practical Guide to Become an Officer. And in that book, there was mentioned that at one point in your life, you actually called Nehru sir and said, sir, I mean, अब तो मैं SBI PO बन गया, लेकिन सर यहाँ पे मुझे सही नहीं लग रहा. And you complained that I could have joined Indian Coast Guard. So why did you feel like that?
See, I would answer this question by asking you one another question. Are you employed somewhere, or you are still preparing, or you are studying?
I'm studying.
Right. So, Vishnu, matlab, 3 or 4 years later in your life, you will also figure out the same thing. Like studying and is one thing, and then working and developing yourself in an organization is a different. So at that point of time, when I was there in SBI, it had been around 6 to 7 months, close to an year. So when we are, when we transform from a school or from a college into a job, we have to adjust ourselves according to the organization. And that transformation, I had to, I had to undergo through, even if I was there in the forces. So that process is pretty normal. So as he was very close, one of my closest assessors and a very keen guide as well. So I just asked him up. 3 or 4 years from afterwards, I don't, regret saying that. But it could happen anytime, even if you're working in the forces, if you're working in any other organization as well. So it was just a transformational phase for my life, and I had spoken up to him for that.
Yes, Tarun. We wish to know your journey of preparation phase and of course, after you were screened out, then that phase, after screened out and before recommended, that phase, the preparation phase where which is got in to the recommendation phase.
See, that was the best one of the best part of my life. I'll start with my routine that I used to follow. The first thing that Col Nehru sir asked me was to wake up early. I believe till today that is the most difficult thing for me, even right now. He just asked me that you should wake up early, and even afterwards that you're not doing anything, that will also suffice. But first, change your habit of waking up early. So I used to get up at around 5:36 in the morning. Now, from someone who used to sleep at till 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, to a person who used to wake up at 6 a.m., it is a big thing, at least for me. Afterwards, when I used to wake up at 6 a.m., then the question came to mind, अब क्या करें? चलो एक्सरसाइज करके ही आते हैं. तो इनिशियली आई यूज्ड टू वॉक, कि नहीं ठीक है, अगर दौड़ने की कोशिश करूंगा तो सांस फूलेगी, फिर होगा. फिर धीरे धीरे आई यूज्ड टू गो ओवर फॉर ब्रिस्क वॉकिंग, एंड देन वन डे आई थॉट कि अब तो रनिंग हो ही जाएगी, एंड इट वेंट दैट वर्ड्स. And coming back, I used to after taking a breakfast and all, I used to sit on my computer and then start reading for the essays that sir had asked me to write upon. And those topics were so deep and so vast and diverse that it used to consume at least 3.5, 4 hours, just studying about a single topic and then writing it down, then again correcting it. And afterwards, after I had completed one of the essays, the immediate religious quote was that I used to email it to him and then start pinging him that sir आपने पढ़ा क्या, उसमें क्या comments हैं. So कहते I'll read it, I'll get back to you in the evening. And along with the preparation for SSB, I was always preparing for these competitive examinations. So the remaining time till the evening I used to give for them. I did not take up any coaching. I studied on my own. And again, in the evening, I used to go to the gym. And then coming back, I used to interact with sir. And then closer in the night, some another topic, jo kal ke liye padhna hai ya kya karna. I used to follow this. So from a person who was, sleeping and going out, and he was just wondering what to do, to a person who was consuming 16 to 17 hours of his day in productive activities, I guess that was the most important thing. And the other things, they happened automatically. I never had to bother about them.
How to go about self-study? There are many people in NFA who are opting to do self-study. So how to go about the self-study?
Right. See, the most important thing is about self-study is that you should be self-aware. Like if you are aiming to, write any competitive examinations, first you should be aware that what are the, topics that are going to be asked, like general knowledge, mathematics, English. So I was aware that I didn't require any coaching for my English or for my mathematics because I was very, I had a very strong hold on that. So if one individual feels that like "Nee, I need guidance for English, then taking up a suitable guidance is, is quite sensible. So first realizing that where are you and where do you want to go is important, and uske liye kya kya steps lagenge will be automatically, defined. And afterwards, guidance lene ke sath sath, because the person who will be, guiding you, if you opt for that and if it is required, you should also focus on your self study. जो उन्होंने बताया उसके ऊपर क्या कर सकते हैं, अपने से कुछ और पढ़ने के लिए हो. And most importantly, अगर आजकल कोई भी एग्जाम होगा तो there are n number of mocks and n number of, lessons which are available on the internet, so you can, opt for those. Even if you are taking, any coaching or anything, unless until you are doing self study, nothing would be, figured out.
Thank you so much. Again, there are people who are opting for CDS and AFAT entries, and you have cleared that one of the toughest entries, that is SBI. I guess 30 lakh people almost apply every year, and rate is more. And a few 700s or 1000 get selected. I guess right now they have increased the vacancies, but still. So how do we clear this competitive examination?
Okay. As I said earlier, that all of these examinations are asking for the same thing. They will test you on three or four aspects, like mathematics, English, logical or analytical reasoning, and these days I guess there is comprehension and the general knowledge as well. So general knowledge or general studies, you can opt for any books or anything that is available in the market. What I used to prefer was that I used to follow the capsules that were available on the internet. I used to write it down. I used to take prints and then try to memorize it. And remaining part of mathematics and reasoning, you should before starting your preparation, you should just take up a simple test that is up to that examinations level. Suppose if you're preparing for the CDS, you should download one of the previous year examinations, and with whatever knowledge you have, you should just give a simple assessment, and thereafter you should it would give you a very clear idea that where do you stand and how much improvement is required, and you can decide your plan accordingly.
I want to give our students an idea. You see, when Tarun joined me, when Yogita joined me, No Frills Academy was not what it is like you people who have joined recently see it. There was no the practical guide to become an officer. There was no fitness guide. There was no list of GK topics. I was myself learning, and things were evolving. There were no groups to carry out these discussions, so discussions were conducted by me only. I was the only one who was discussing one-on-one. So to some extent, the interaction with some of our initial students was far more than what it is today. Firstly, I had a lot of time, and secondly, I had hardly any students. So that is what I was doing. So these GK topics and all that were evolving. In fact, Tarun would have sent me, I don't know, must have sent me about 30, 40 essays.
More than that, sir. More than that. Around 50.
Around 50. Okay. So Yogita takes the cake because for her, even she doesn't know, I had opened a second file folder for her because she had sent me that many case ka dusra folder hai. So I would say in written work, Yogita has been my top student, and thereafter is Tarun. So they sent me a lot of stuff, and we were discussing all these things. तो जो ग्रुप शुरू की जो चीजें आप लोग अभी करते हैं, वो तब ग्रुप भी मैं ही था. मतलब मदर फादर ग्रुप, everything was between among us only. So that is how No Frills Academy was going. And वो फिटनेस की भी चीजें मैं बातचीत कर करके लिख रहा था. In fact, so many things about running, churning, and all I have written after interaction with Tarun, because I realized the state because you see, I will explain to you. I was used to training jawans, and जवान जब आता है यार, वो 1500 मीटर उसने 1 माइल किया होता 5:45 में, and generally they faster than that. वो 5:15, 5:30 वाला आता है, तो he is reasonably okay. Plus, I was most of my time I had spent training boxers and all who were elite among them. Now I had to deal with people like Tarun, जिसको सवेरे उठने में ही कष्ट है, फिर ना दौड़ने में ही कष्ट है. So it was, I was also learning कि यार ये मतलब इसको कैसे सिखाना है. मतलब बॉक्सर जो आता है वो क्या यार, मतलब वो 40 पुशअप हम ये देख रहे हैं कि वो 1 मिनट में 40 पुशअप निकाल रहा है. अभी यहाँ हम देख रहे हैं कि ये बच्चा 10 पुशअप निकाल सकता है कि नहीं निकाल सकता. So it was a very different learning for me also, along with Tarun. So that is how it went. So I hope you people can understand, how things were going about. But what was the best thing was, I would tell you, because Tarun is sharing his own experience, I will, as a guide, you see, what I am looking for in a student, those criteria were totally met by Tarun. Tarun was absolutely sincere. Whatever he clarified, कि sir ये मेरे से हो सकता है, ये नहीं हो सकता, आप ही बताओ क्या करना है. And whatever then he resolved, and then he did it. There were no half measures. वो नहीं किया तो नहीं बताया, कर सका तो बताया, उठने में दर्द हुआ तो बताया. फिर हमने कहा यार ठीक है यार, देखो साइकिलिंग कर लेते हैं, अभी इतना रनिंग मत करो, नीज वगैरह पे गड़बड़ होगा. You can't suddenly become an athlete. Slowly you will have to get into that. So in that manner, we worked, and it is very important for people who are not involved with physical training and all that, not to get injured. Because initially क्या होता है, exuberance में हम चोट खा जाते हैं और फिर वो demoralizing हो जाता है. So fortunately that thing we could totally avoid, and steadily. Tarun, कितना तुम 90 plus kg था ना तेरा weight?
I was 98, sir.
98. फिर तुम कितना, you came down to some 73, 74, na?
At the point of time that I was there in the medical, sir, I was 65 kilograms. The doctor declared me underweight.
Okay. And you had and just about ability to walk, you had attained the capability to run approximately how much in how much time?
So I used to cover at least 10 kilometers in around 50-55 minutes.
Okay.
Without any stress.
Yeah. So you see how this journey has been, and you see what happens. Once you get this confidence of overall awareness, physical fitness, these are qualities which will they will work anywhere, whether you go for Coast Guard or defense or SBI. और बंदे में दम होना चाहिए यार, वो दिखने लगता है, and confidence comes. So all those things had come to Tarun, and that is why he started getting success everywhere. तेरा TCS में भी तो हुआ था.
Right, sir. हाँ.
All the 3 places you went, you got selected everywhere.
Right.
So that is how it is. Yeah. Any boys and girls, any questions you want to have asked from Tarun or from me, as to how things were going about back then?
Here I wish to highlight the importance of continued interactions. What we observe is after 3 interactions, people do not call up. To spread this message to all, Tarun is a fine example of why the continuous being in touch with Col Nehru is required. Because some inputs will be positive.
Hello.
Some you may evolve your own strategies to develop yourself, but the crux is that there should be a guide.
Good morning to all. Actually, I have a question to both sir and Tarun sir. That I'm having my own agenda, but whenever I proceed to do any of the thing, I just think about the last step, which is required to achieve that one. But I forget between them that what to do and what not to do. However, I'm aware also little bit things, but not completely. So that creates little bit hurdle for me. So how to overcome this shortcoming?
Beta, you will have to firstly Vipin reword. Please explain your problem with greater clarity. Because unless I understand your problem clearly, I will not be able to give an answer, a proper answer. Vipin, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. सर फॉर एग्जांपल मुझे कुछ चीजें पता है तो मैं उन्हीं पे वर्क करता हूँ. अब जो मुझे नहीं पता है उस पे तो मैं वर्क ऑब्वियस सी बात है सर मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगा और मैं डायरेक्ट फाइनल रिजल्ट के लिए सोचता हूँ कि मेरा रिजल्ट अच्छा होना चाहिए, लेकिन मैं ये भूल जाता हूँ कि उसके बीच में कई सारी चीजें जो एग्जीक्यूट करनी पड़ती है.
ओके, तो थोड़ा बहुत मुझे आइडिया मिला आपके क्वेश्चन का. पहली बात तो देखिए, अगर विराट कोहली भी ये सोच के जाएगा ना कि ये मैंने मैच जीतना है और मैंने आज सेंचुरी बनानी है, तो उससे सेंचुरी नहीं बनने वाली है, ना मैच जीतने वाला है. ठीक, विराट कोहली को भी जो है बॉल बाय बॉल ही गेम खेलना पड़ेगा और इसी तरह से लाइफ है. और आपके लिए एक बड़ी एडवांटेज है कि अभी आपको शॉर्ट कमिंग्स आगे ढूंढने की जरूरत है. सॉरी, मैंने आपको असेस करके बता दिया भाई ये करने की जरूरत है. अब उनके लिए फिर हमने प्लान भी बना लिया, आपको एक रोड मैप दिया लिखा हुआ और उसको बताया कि भाई अब इस पे आप चलिए. फिर आपने डेली रूटीन बनाया, उसको भी हमने डिस्कस कर लिया. And that is what you have to go and just go and execute that. Why do you have to keep thinking about the end results and things like that? And for that, when you are having this problem of end results, what we are doing after a period of time, we are laying down targets to be accomplished by a particular date. So once you are accomplishing those targets, which are realistic, and you are able to do those, then it gives a very clear indicator that you are on the right track and you're working in the right direction. So now what happens, SSB का सक्सेस हुआ नहीं हुआ वो तो एक अलग चीज है, पर लाइफ में तो आप सही ट्रैक पे हो, आप सक्सेसफुल तो हो ही ना. आपने अपने जो टारगेट्स बनाए वो तो अकम्प्लिश कर लिया आपने और उससे ही आपको कॉन्फिडेंस भी आ जाता है. Now I'll leave it to Tarun to add on as to how he did all that.
Right.
Sure, sir.
I'll narrate this with an example. A year back, I was looking. There was a proposal at our desk. एक gas pipeline. It was about to be established, and वो था कि उसको finance करना है. So the credit requirement was around some 40 crores. So everything is new for us for as well कि क्या requirement होगा, या मतलब 40 करोड़ मांग रहे हैं तो उतना कैपिटल चाहिए भी कि नहीं चाहिए, या अगर लगाएंगे तो कौन से पार्ट हैं, उसकी टेक्निकल रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है. इवन इट वाज न्यू फॉर अस एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम जब हमारी टीम को मिला था. सो अगर हम तभी सोच लेते कि हम नहीं करेंगे या हम कर देते हैं तो दैट वुड हैव बीन वेरी सेंसिबल नहीं होता. सो व्हाट वी डिड वाज दैट वी टुक आवर फर्स्ट स्टेप कि उस मतलब उस पाइपलाइन के लिए क्या इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्या क्या चीजें लगती हैं, पहले हमने उसके बारे में पढ़ने की कोशिश करी. एंड देयर आफ्टर वी न्यू कि क्या हमें मतलब उनसे क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है कि वो जो हमें प्रेजेंट करना है प्लान कि हम ऐसे बनाएंगे वो सही है एक्चुअली में कि नहीं. सो लाइकवाइज rather than thinking about going to Z, you should first think about how to start with alpha, then for beta, then you can go through Charlie, and then eventually you will have that kind of vision and confidence कि मुझे Z तक जाना है कि X तक जाना है कि यहीं से छोड़ देना है. वो क्लैरिटी भी फर्स्ट स्टेप लेने से ही आती है. unless and until you are not taking the first step diligently, you will never be able to, reach the last step.
Yes, Vipin, your question
Got
answered.
it, sir. Got it, sir. It means I have to move step by step
Yes,
with improvement, sir.
Definitely. Practical guide पढ़ लिया है?
Sir, completely I have read, sir, but remaining are the candidates' views, sir. That is why I have to read. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Good.
Thank you.
You will get clarity. Welcome.
Sure, sir.
Okay, there are no more questions. Fine. Tarun, it remains for me to thank you for taking your time. I know, I mean, we have this hold over you. We can call you anytime because
absolutely, sir.
Absolutely.
The pleasure is all mine.
No Frills Academy. And in any case, our book has gone to so many people and your story is there. I think there are 4 stories and yours is an important story. So it forms part of it. So all our students, they definitely know your story. Like Vishnu had narrated. So sabko pata hai. So you will always remain an important part of No Frills Academy. And maybe मेरे जैसे लोग निकल भी जाएंगे तब भी स्टोरी तो ये रहेगी किताब में, it is there on print. Fine.
Right, sir. Right.
That is how it is. So Tarun, thank you very much for taking your time and speaking to our students and inspiring them with your practical knowledge. And take care and God bless.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And it was a pleasure connecting with you after so long. And to end the video, I'll tell all the students that this is my first live interaction with Nehru. Back then, हमारे पास से phone and Skype होता था. It was never like this.
Correct.
Now it would have been.
No Frills Academy has moved ahead. Okay then, Tarun, take care. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Bye.
Bye. God bless.